Have you ever feel like you just don't want to do anything? You have a lot of ideas that would greatly improve your life, but you just feel like you don't have the motivation to do anything about it? Well, we all want to be able to have that motivation to carry on doing whatever it is that we want to do. We want to fill our free time with constructive things like writing a book, learning how to play musical instruments, publishing videos on YouTube, and many other constructive things. But we just don't have the motivation to do it. There is just too many distractions and we just cannot start working on the task at hand. Sometimes the work is too huge and that we are paralyzed by how much things that we need to do in order to complete it. So we end up opening Facebook and Instagram right before we start working. At the end of the day, we ended up not doing anything. At first, this sounds like a normal lazy day in the office, but it actually has a greater impact on our lives. You would feel quite upset and guilty about it at the end of each day. You can't stop thinking about it, yet you never get the task done. As years goes by, this leads to unfulfilling life and you will seem to always not having the motivation to do something about it. We will always be jealous of other people which seems to always get the job done and having a wonderful life. Now this has happened to me more than I want to remember and it is such a bad feeling. All because I think that I don't have motivation to do it. So I keep waiting until the motivation comes. But it never really did until I do a few tips and tricks that I'm about to share in this video. There are specific steps that you can take in order to earn the motivation that you need. And more importantly, to keep them up all the time. And yes, it is very possible to keep the motivation up all the time. These tips have been transformative for me and it makes me look at motivation at different angle. With this, you will be able to stop feeling like you are wasting your time again and again, and it will certainly help you to push through difficult tasks more frequently. Remember, this video is not to motivate you but to tell you what you can do to earn that motivation that we all crave for. Now, a lot of people think that motivation is within us, that it's just a matter of time before motivation hits us and we would be able to do anything that we want. This belief is even more pronounced when we see some people seems to always have motivation all day long. But actually, motivation is something that we earn and not something that we have. This is something that I learned from the book The Motivation Myth by Jeff Haden. Motivation does not lead to success, but it's the other way around. It is actually success that gives you motivation to get even more success. This means we need success first, right? It does not have to be huge success. Just a small success will lead us to become more motivated to do more. And this leads to more successes and leads to more motivation. And this brings us to point number 2. Small successes, even though they seem too small compared to the actual objective that we want to achieve, are worth celebrating. Go and have dinner with your spouse, treat yourself with a small gift, go to a movie, it doesn't matter. Just go and celebrate the small successes. This will keep you addicted to successes and that at the end, without you even realize it, you have achieved the bigger goals. These little celebrations contribute a lot to your motivation, which then keeps you going to achieve something even more. When you have these celebrations under your belt, it makes you remember that you are one step closer to your goal compared to where you are before the celebration. Sometimes, when the task is too big, you are simply paralyzed and do not know what to do first. In the end, you will put it off and never got started. So, whenever you have an idea, or if there is something that you like to do, split them into manageable tasks. Let's say you'd like to write a book. So, split it into a few tasks. For instance, this week you are going to work on the table of content. For the next 2 weeks, you are going to work on the first chapter and so on and so forth. And don't forget to celebrate each time you complete the task. If you keep doing this, after 4 or 5 months or so, you will have a complete book written. Now imagine if you don't split the task in the first place. You just won't know where to start. You may keep thinking about chapter 4 while still writing chapter 1 because you don't know when you are going to reach chapter 4. And this distracts your focus, which leads you to become demotivated. So create yourself a manageable task within a reasonable time frame. As much as I understand that goals are important, I believe that the process to get there are even more important. Because without the process, you'll never achieve your goals. Even sometimes, thinking about our goals could actually distract us from the process that is going to get us there. So the best thing to do is set your goal, then break them down into a few processes that you can do each day to bring you closer to that goal. Then, forget the goal and commit yourself to the process every single day. We all love it when we achieve the goals, but the celebrations when you achieve the goal is only one time, and it dies out quite quickly when you are on to your next goal. But if you try enjoying the process to get there, then you'll get the enjoyment for a very long time until the goal is met. Yes, it could be miserable when we are pushing boundaries in the process, but at the end, those moments are the ones that we remember and the ones that we are most proud of. So keep committing yourself to the process and enjoy it. Another way to keep your motivation up is to surround yourself with like-minded people. And needless to say, avoid negative people. Surely some criticism is good, but in order to keep your focus, being with people that are like-minded helps a lot. For instance, if you are a programmer, go and mingle around with other programmers. If you cannot do this, go on Facebook and find groups that are dedicated to programmers. Join classes to learn something, and more importantly, to find new connections. Being with the like-minded people helps in such a way that when you see other people in your area is making progress, you will immediately feel like you can make progress too. And being with them would give you ideas that you've never even thought of. Perhaps some of them had difficulties that you are currently facing, so now it takes much shorter time to solve your problem than having to figure it out for yourself. By having this interaction, you will also feel like you are accountable for your action. You would not feel good not working on a project for a week, so this acts as an additional push for you to deliver faster. And there you go guys, if you are looking for ways to keep your motivation up, these are a few tips and tricks that you can use to achieve that. Remember that you need to earn that motivation, as it will not simply come to you. So a little effort to earn the motivation will be worth it in the end. If you find this video useful, do consider subscribing to my channel. I post videos about life as an academic, engineering tutorials, and life advices like this based on my experience. Do stay safe and push as hard as you can to achieve your dream. Talk to you soon. Bye.